Hi and welcome to our first high detail tree lecture. First of all, I want to show you this. I created an image with a collection of images on it for reference, just to keep on my other monitor while I model. I can just look at this and use it as a reference. You can see the base here that we're going to go for, or we've gone for, I should say. A couple of references with that. Lots of bendy, wobbly trees. A reminder of the leaves, what shape they are. But we're not going to do the canopy at this stage. We're just going to model the actual tree, the trunk and the branches. We'll get to the canopy a little later when we start doing textures, because it's more related to sort of textures than it is to modeling. Okay, so this is the tree. I've done one. I thought we would start with one done so I can show you and talk through it, and then we'll do the second one together. I'll show you how I did it. So you can see this is probably up around, if I select it, yeah, 2,500 polys, which is quite a lot for a tree. But these trees are going to be, one of our main focuses. It's going to be one of our hero objects. And we want them to look really good. So you can see I've put a lot of detail in the bottom. I mean, bearing in mind we're going to be sort of standing here, and that's how big it's going to be. It's going to be absolutely huge. So these polygons are still pretty big. These quads, they're not small. So it takes up a lot of screen space. So you can see I've done it in sort of 3 stages really. I've done this bottom half, where I've put most of the detail. So most of the polygons are in the bottom here, forming the roots, and yeah, just so we've got most detail down there, because that's what we're going to see the most. And as you go up, it gets less and less, and up to here it gets even less still. In fact, I don't think I really changed this from the white box model much. So we're going to start by doing this. I'm going to show you the techniques I use to do the base, and then we're going to add more branches. I'm going to show you how to do that too, and then we're going to add these little spindly ones. I mean, these I've pushed into the geometry, and I'm not really a big fan of doing that, but if they're high up, out of the way, and you're not going to get close to them, then it's fine. If you imagine this tree covered in foliage, then you're not going to really see these joints, as long as we don't do the main joints, because that would look really ugly pushed in like that. And when we texture it in substance, the substance will blend all these joins. I mean, this tree took a little bit of time, but I think once we do the more straightforward ones, it should be about 20 or 30 minutes per tree. So, and I think we're going to need about a dozen or so just to get some variety. And once you've got that many, it's a case of, it's quite quick. You can start modeling them quite quick and creating new ones relatively easy. You could use a different package to create trees, something like Speed Tree. You could even use, like I said before, you could use Unity itself. But I'm not a big fan of that. It just doesn't look next gen or current gen or whatever you want to call it. It just doesn't look good enough, in my opinion. So I like to do it myself and create my own trees. And you can, a good day's work, you can get a good bunch of trees that are unique to your game and to you, and exactly how you want them. So it's worth the effort. I know a lot of games have used SpeedTree, and you can even get a plugin to put into your game from SpeedTree that generates the trees for you. But that's a different thing altogether. And one more thing, you've probably noticed I've got triangles. Don't let it bother you. Like I said before earlier, it's not, it's fine. If it animates, don't have triangles. But if it doesn't, it's fine. If it's static and it's going to stay like that, it doesn't matter. It's all triangles anyway. you're just exposing them, really. That's all you're doing. So as long as the topology is neat and tidy, which it is, it doesn't, it's not messy, which it isn't, then it's all fine, it's all good. Let's get started on our next tree. Here we are with the second oak tree. This is the white box version, and I'm going to use this to embellish and create a interesting tree like that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is add some resolution to the base of this tree, and I'm going to use mesh smooth, but first we're going to have to lock the base. I'll just show you why we're going to lock the base. Just to remind you, if we mesh smooth that, it bunches up at the bottom like that, and we don't want that to happen, so we have to lock the shape of that by adding a loop at the bottom. So if we swift loop there like that, and then we mesh smooth, see, it keeps the shape, which is perfect, just what we need. Okay, so now we're going to create a couple of these roots. I'm going to show you one or two, and then I'm going to let you do your own thing, because doing everything is just going to take too much time. Actually, first we need to just delete this base. We don't need this now, so just delete that. It's a waste of polygons. So let's just move that up slightly. Right, now to extrude, first of all we're going to draw a line. So we go to create at the top, shapes, go to line, and just create a line where you think your root will be, like this, out to however far you want it to come out, and then just move it up slightly like that, move it into, so it's actually against it. Select your tree again, go to modify, select your polygons around where you've placed your line like that, and then we're going to extrude that along this line. So if you go over here on your menu to the right, if you scroll up to edit polygons, if you come down here and go extrude along spline, click that, and now pick spline here, so you click on that and you go over and you pick your spline, and it does that. It's a bit weird and twisted, so you need to modify the 38 is way too many. You want to take that right down to, I don't know, probably around 11. That twisting is a bit heavy, so you just want to bring that, soften that up. Don't worry about the shape of it too much, because you're going to manually adjust it. You can fatten it if you want to, get really crazy with it, but don't turn it inside out like that, because that's just mad. Make sure it sits nicely like that. That'll do for now, so tick yes, and there you go, there's your first root. Now you have to go through manually now and adjust it to whatever you want, so I'll select it and just start modifying it. Pull that up, some weirdness going on the end there. I'll just delete that. Yeah, you can see some weird shapes going on underneath, so just pull them down. fine, don't worry, we can patch that up. In fact, we're going to get rid of these polygons in a minute anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. So you need to just shape this into a really nice shape that you want it to be, basically. So it's, you know, it's up to you, however you want it to be. Yeah, I use like a much better arc for my where it joins. So I'll try and get that right first. A bit like that, that's better. I will put this on fast forward now because this bit is quite monotonous, and you know all this stuff anyway. So just shape it to the route that you want, just by moving the light edges around, moving the verts around, and making it a nice shape. Okay, so that's the first one. Looks pretty good. Probably could do a tidying up on the end there, but looks like a root. When that's all textured up, it'll look pretty good. So I'm going to do another one, and then I'm going to let you do the rest on this tree. So if you watch this time, use the same technique. So you go to line. We'll put some curves in it this time. And to do that, you just click, hold it a little bit and pull it away, and then let go. Like that. And if you want to edit that line, you can go to modify and just click on the vertex button there, and let's move your verts around. You can even adjust the curves that you created if you wanted to. It could be a bit more drastic, move them like that. Let's just move it up. Push it into the geometry, click on the tree, select the faces you want to extrude, click on extrude along a spline, click on the settings, pick the spline, that one. It thought it's still the reason why it went into the tree line, it thought it was this line over here, and we can delete that now because we don't need it. So there it is. There's your root, and you can play with these if you want to. Take a few of the loops out. You know, adjust the fatness of it or thinness of it, even make it thinner. Twistiness of it, you can twist it like so, but I would avoid using that too much. You don't need to use it. I would just click tick and then go in and modify it. Okay, I'm going to leave that in. That happens sometimes. Do you want to attempt to save a copy of the current scene, and click OK, and it will save it into your backup folder. So you need to do that. Click OK.